So Heritage Insurance Company was fined $1 million because they didn't have no claims properly after the hurricane. We're going to talk about all this, but in my opinion, it should have been 50 million, 100 million to really send a message to these insurance companies about how they treat people in Florida. My name is Mike Keeler. I'm a licensed public adjuster here in Florida. So if you haven't seen this video, I'd highly encourage you to watch this video. I rank every year the insurance companies, okay? And I guess I'll spoil the three worst. So Heritage was ranked number 2 as the worst insurance company in Florida. Universal Property and Casualty, if you guys not familiar, they have the little elephant, okay? They are by far the worst. Heritage is right there, right behind them. And then third is Citizens in my ranking, and this is in my opinion, based on my experience of dealing with these companies. So let's get into this. Florida OIR, that's the Office of Insurance Regulation, fines Heritage Property and Casualty $1 million for Ian claims issues. All right. Now let's look at how they came about this. So they took and audited 324 claims out of more than 5,500 that were filed. Now, they're saying that 13 of 324, they utilize adjusters not properly appointed in Florida. But here's some things that doesn't make sense. Like, I don't believe in these numbers at all. I think they're trying to make the numbers not look so bad. But there's other numbers that, I don't know, I'm going to tell you my personal experience. So, number one, in about 30% of claims, Heritage did not acknowledge receipt of claim communication within 14 days as required by statute. I had anywhere from 15 to 20 claims involving Heritage, and there wasn't one time where they acknowledged receipt of the claim within 14 days. Not one. Okay. In 22% of cases, a carrier did not pay or deny claims within 90 days as required. So I'm trying to think back. I probably had a couple. So at 20%. I just don't remember off the top of my head. But what I will say, of the 15 to 20 cases, all of them went into a lawsuit. They never made one attempt, serious attempt, to settle the claim. I can sit here right now and tell you wholeheartedly, I have about 4 or 5, that are still in lawsuits involving Heritage. And we are just shy of the 2-year mark. Yep, 2 years. So, that's 100%. I can tell you also that 100% of the claims, they paid less than $30,000, irregardless of how much damage that person and that home sustained. Their payments were always between $10,000 and $30,000. And we have settled some cases over the last couple of months with Heritage where the payout was over $100,000. Okay, I think just the last one we did, the total, including attorney fees, was about $170,000. So, and I think on that one they did $22,000 or something. So it was very low. Okay, and 59 of 216 claims closed with payment. Heritage did not accurately calculate the interest owed. Now, they can close it. Doesn't mean that case is settled. Heritage can make you a $3,000 payment and then close it on their end. to make their numbers look good. So I don't believe this. No way. And 50% of the time, the company did not initiate voice contact with the insurers within 1 business day. That's 100%. In many of my cases, we did not hear anything until 45 to 60 days later. So they're saying, but in just 3% of the claims examined, Heritage did not maintain complete claim records. I can't speak for that, right? Just doesn't surprise me. Ironically, well, let me find that page. Hold on. Okay, so here it is. This is just a different article, but there was something I wanted to show you. State regulators found Heritage. They violated Florida's insurance code, including they failed to pay or deny claims within the 90-day mark. And like I said, I know I had a couple. I just can't think of how many. But what they were doing instead is just making crap small payments and then closing out claims to make it look like it's all a scam. Heritage is just a terrible company. And they also failed to acknowledge it received communications about claims. So this is the largest fine. Remember I was telling you about the 2 worst insurance companies? This is the largest fine handed down by state regulators in more than a decade. The last time was in 2013 with my number 1 rated worst insurance company, Universal. They got fined $1.2 million, which is nothing. Nothing. And Universal, nothing changed. Universal became worse after the fine. So these fines, it's basically like, hey, Heritage, Universal, come on, you guys, like, gotta get better. We're not gonna fine you a lot because we're all in cahoots together and this is one big happy corrupt system, but we gotta do a little something. Okay, so we're just gonna fine you $1 million. Meanwhile, they're raking in over $300 million in profit, and Universal's got $1 billion in the bank, and it's basically like finding you a speeding ticket $5. Like that's supposed to deter you from speeding again. Makes absolutely no sense. Okay, so let's look back at, there was an article by the Washington Post that insurers slash Hurricane Ian payouts far below damage. And this was, I'm going to get this little thing here, but this was all about Heritage. Let me show you. Oh, I just had it. So here's the complaint right here. So it's happened to, they got a specific individual, Terry and Mary Sebastian in Rotunda West. So the adjuster wrote an estimate of about $200,000. Okay, the adjuster, whose last name was Lee, let me find his first name here, Jordan Lee. Okay, he wrote an estimate about $200,000 to repair the damage, which was probably still low, but that's okay. But then he found on his report 10 days later that it had been whittled down with entire portions, such as the details in the bedroom removed, insulation, and now Heritage changed it to $27,000, and they changed it without his knowledge or consent. But his name was still left on the final report. So this shows you how dirty these insurance companies are, especially Heritage. So the reason why I brought up that second part about them changing the estimate is they did this on, I don't know, hundreds of files, and nothing has happened to Heritage. So a lot of us that are in this industry and attorneys are scratching our heads like, basically the stuff that you find them for, yeah, it was bad, but it wasn't fraudulent criminal bad with them changing estimates, and they haven't done anything yet to Heritage. So This goes to show you these insurance companies don't care. They will do everything, including fraud, so that they don't have to pay you. And we're seeing it. Florida's a different monster. People get treated differently in Florida. Homeowners and claims. Because we have so many claims and the inclement weather. But you can't allow an insurance company who takes people's premiums and make hundreds of millions of dollars a year to do fraudulent stuff after a hurricane. For goodness sake. Unfortunately, the regulators are also in on this whole system, right? And we see that far too often in our government, unfortunately, where they're all in on it together. That's why you won't see an insurance company get fined heavily. You won't, because they donate to the candidates, to the politicians. It's just one big corrupt system. Hope you enjoyed this video. My name is Mike Keeler. I'm a licensed public adjuster here in the state of Florida. If you have any questions, need help with a claim, contact me, your favorite YouTube public adjuster. Here's my information. Thanks for watching.